every little piece of that, like those touch points, is just building credibility, value, and trust. That's what the biggest thing that I can see and hear. And
Welcome to the Build Insite Podcast. Real people, real insights. Step into the world of innovative construction, one conversation at a time.
All right, guys, I'm pretty pumped about this one. We are sitting down with our main man, Michael Lack from U2U Productions. Over the last sort of 15 months or so, he's become a massive part of not just Build Insight, but firstly, it was Backman Builders. Nick, officially welcome to the podcast
thank you.
as a guest.
Oh, it's been, I've been itching ever since I've been editing all of it, listening to you and Luke. I'm like, man, when am I going to get called up? And here we are
That's it, mate.
in prime location as well.
Dude, well, hey, first started with this, like we actually connected through Instagram, as you do. And, I was on the hunt for a sort of a new videographer with Backman Builders. And I saw your stuff pop up and I was like, this guy's doing some unique stuff. It's not just run of the mill, chuck some video together and cool music. You're kind of really thinking about it. And yeah, mate, we kicked off our relationship in this project before we actually came to site and set our site up. And now, yeah, we've got a shit ton of video, a lot of photos, which I can't wait to put together with you. But, mate, where did it all start for you? U2U Productions.
Where did it start? I lived over in Vietnam for 4 years. I moved there. I worked for my old man for 10. And then one morning I woke up and I was like, man, this wasn't for me. I was playing around with like my phone and making funny videos and whatnot. But I said, I spoke to the old man. I was like, look, this is not for me. I think I'd want to, go do something else. One of my best mates was living in Ho Chi Minh at the time. So I called him and I was like, hey man, do you mind if I come and just live with you? And he was like, yeah, sweet as. So I literally packed up everything and I fucking left.
You left.
So, but like leading up to there, I'd like had this grand idea to grab a bunch of GoPros. Like me and him, like we got XR 150s and we literally just traveled for 9 months.
Yeah.
Just like anywhere and everywhere in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. And, I just wanted to like capture everything. Yeah. And I went a little bit like ADHD. I was like, I want a GoPro on the back of the bike. I want a GoPro on the front of the bike. I want a GoPro on my helmet. I got a GoPro like drone. But no, I documented everything that I did in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, I put together like a little cool video and now I've got all this, footage to look back on. But then moved back to Australia. It's like kind of like at the end of your bad COVID lockdown. But then we went into another one.
So you missed most of that.
Yeah, I missed it.
You
Where I was
bastard.
living, man, we had the army come through for 2 weeks and they were like, do not leave your house. And man, it was like, to be honest, I didn't really say much because I know what you guys were going through, but like, and we were still going down to the beach and, so.
Yeah.
But no, came back home and I started running music studios. So doing all their social media, like invested in, more gear, and pretty much just did like all their social, content creation. It was kind of like a gym for artists. So like we had like 10 artists that would rent out spaces in there. And I looked after, sort of to being a part of the studio, they got access to me. So I was doing like music videos, content for them. We also went and like covered festivals. So I just kept, sort of grinding my creativity, my storytelling within there. One of my best friends, Matthew Craig, he runs $80. It's one of us, I think it's Australia's sort of like biggest independent hip hop label. And he taught me a lot about social media, about creativity. And he is an artist. He had this kind of, he's a rapper as well. And I did a lot of his music videos and he always had these really cool concepts and X, Y, and Z. So anytime we went out and did a music video, there was, a storyboard, there was a storyline. He had a story because it was his music. So I did that for 2 years. And then at the end of that, I was like, it's time to start my own thing. And U2U, I've always said U2U. It's just like my tagline.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's U2U Productions.
Yeah.
So, and then ever since then, kind of went out, when I went out on my own, I did everything and anything under the sun. And, like my best mate, Sam, runs a chippy crew. my best mate, Anthony and Frank, they've got their, building company. So alongside doing everything else that I was trying, I was doing their content.
Mm.
And I just felt like I blended in with
Yeah.
a construction site.
Yeah.
I could just get along with this because I was laboring as well to like
Yeah.
make a little bit extra money. And, that was the thing that stuck. So
Yep.
here we are.
I think, man, it's like, yeah, that was one reason I got drawn to what you were doing with YDY. It's kind of like you're amazing at kind of telling a bit of a story and then getting that across to each builder company who you're working with. And that's just sort of what you were saying. I sort of had a quick think back over just 2025, and we had like drones following our cars through the Macedon Ranges. We had like collectible cars driving in like frosty, foggy mornings. You had me getting pushed in a pool by Daz and swimming through, taking the piss out of ourselves with a basement build and all sorts of stuff. And then obviously with us doing Build Insight, which is what we're here for, recording your podcast, obviously, but you're been a massive help for us to kind of like think about how we're telling stories and how we're showing up to, I suppose, be industry people to help others. And it's like a really interesting time because obviously with technology is going, gangbusters. It's hard to keep up with what's coming and what's going. Let's be honest. But you got a good handle on it, and I think for builders out there, they don't have to be like the media person. They can get someone in that's the right fit for them. But where you're really strong is like your storytelling and you connecting what needs to be done with a certain shoot. You've pulled me up plenty of times to be like, are we talking to your client right now? Or are you talking to people in the industry? So, I mean, where's your passion come from to kind of like really engage with what you're trying to get as your final product, I guess?
When I was living in Vietnam, after we did our massive trip, I worked at a motorbike store, and I don't know anything about motorbikes, but my mate was working at a motorbike store when he was living in Ho Chi Minh. We got to know the owners. Fast forward, I was working in their store, and what I realized was that like I never sold a motorbike. I sold the dream. So these people would come in and they'll be like, I was like, where are you going? We're going one way to Ho Chi Minh. I was like, I got the map out and I was just texturing everything. I'm going to go here. You're going to do this. There's waterfalls. Give me your Google Maps. I'll put everything in there. And then they were so eager to go that they're like, sweet as, like, give me whatever I want. I just want to leave now. So it was just kind of like that passion. It's kind of like you want to get the best story out of that individual, because as soon as that passion and that story comes across, people want to work with people that like they've got a cool story, or they're passionate about their journey. They're passionate about what they do. And that comes through storytelling, so it's kind of like sitting in here, the build process that's, going on with this, but then you getting in front of the camera, it's like you can instantly see your passion for building, your passion for healthy homes, your passion for, being an industry leader. It's just like it shows, you know what I mean? So my passion is getting the best out of you guys or my clients, because then it fuels my fire. And then I'm just kind of like, but at the same time, it's like fun to crack, because there are guys, they're like, oh man, I'm not getting on front of camera. I'm like, let's see, and then I just keep, get chatting, and then they're like, oh, let's try.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, they're like, yeah, this is the sickest thing ever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you're going to get in front of your client, you're just speeding up the process. You're going to put yourself out there before they come to you. What I've found over the years, like most of your clients are watching you from afar before they even connect with you. So if you can put your face out there, they can learn who you are. And being a builder's, we're big and scary. So when they're going to come in and speak to their selected builders to have a chat with, the ice is broken.
It's whether you believe it or not, like I'm getting a lot of new clients now, and they're like, we got to do our social media. We got to get this. And it's kind of like, it's hard to quantify like how many sales are triggered by social media, but at the same time, it's a directory for them to go and go, well, I believe that someone's going to drop, $5 million on a project, they're going to do their due diligence and look through every single piece of content that you've got, whether it's website, LinkedIn, social media, Facebook, are you in art, whatever, it's kind of like, and every little piece of that like those touch points is just building credibility, value, and trust. That's what the biggest thing that I can see and hear, and you guys all understand. It's like what you and Luke were speaking about before, how all those volume builders went under. It just destroyed the trust within the industry. So social media is a great opportunity just to get on there. And like James, who won the Build Insite giveaway,
Yeah.
Nobu Constructions, like I was like, dude, you just need to get on and just talk to your camera. And it's like, it's not going to look good. It's like, dude, just the people who will watch it will watch it. You're scared of the people in your industry that are going to give you shit because you might say the Pro Climber Rap says X, Y, and Z. Like, who cares? They're not paying your bills.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, the social side of things these days, it's just kind of like, it's just need to do it.
Yeah. Be yourself, authentic to who you are, what you're about, what your dream client is, dream build is. Like, that's where you go with it. I mean, for us, we just always want to showcase us. So like when I'm on a camera, I'm not any different on the camera to I am with like my kids or my mates or my parents. Like, you authentic to yourself. And I feel like that's where you've just got to be. Like, at the end of the day, you got to be comfortable in your own skin. So if you can do that and you know that you're going to put a video out and then potentially your next client watches that video, well, it's worth it.
For over 130 years, Bowens has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowens as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build Insight together with Bowens.
Real people,
Real insights.
If you talk about just something, yeah, you don't know what stage of the process that they're in, yeah, whether they're in the design, whether they're talking to other builders, and if you put out that one piece of content that goes, that's the builder for me. You put in he understands joiner, he understands color palette, he's got an interior design, you just talked about something, and that just puts you in front of the other person who's gunning to get the job.
Yeah.
Just keep it top of mind, and just like you said, just keep it authentic. It's
Yep.
social media.
Yep.
It's just like there's no point being not yourself, because you're eventually going to get in front of a client, and if you're not that person, well, you've lost their trust then.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, let's switch it up for a minute because I gotta get this on the podcast.
Yeah.
So last year we were in Adelaide after some podcast recordings, splitting a few G's.
Oh,
If you don't know what that is, it's having some Guinness.
yeah.
And we got talking about your logo. So Mick's got the gnome as a logo, which, I don't know, hands down to me, he's got the best logo going out there. There's a bit of a story behind the gnome. Can we talk about that?
100%. I feel like there's only one when I can't remember what we spoke about, but when my brother came over to Vietnam, we rode a bike from Hoi An up to Hue, and I was like, let's go get tattoos, yeah? Because my little brother started a clothing brand when he was working at McDonald's, and it was called Freezer Stock. Anyway, all the money went to charity. So I got Freezer Stock FS tattooed on me, and I was like, when we get to Hue, you got to get FS and I'll get some other stuff. Anyway, he didn't get a tattoo. His mate got a tattoo. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to not get a tattoo. And I was like, I'll get you to you because that's what I say. And Steve, I was like, something's got to go along with that. And Steve came from when me and my best mate, I don't know, we must have been like 22 or 20, whatever age we were, young. We always went away camping, wakeboarding for the Christmas break. And usually we'd always go to get like real dumb shit, before we headed off with a $2 store shit. Yeah. We walked in there. Harrison's his name. I've also got him tattooed on my ass. So that's how close we are. Actually, I've got his name. That's not for another story. And we walked in and he's like looking for shit and I'm looking for shit. And he comes out with this like dope gnome. It's like big. And I was like, dude, that's shit. Like, why would you bring that? Like, what are you going to do with that? And I get him questioning. And then anyway, he eventually like puts it down. So as soon as he put it down, I went and grabbed it and I fucking took it. So and I was like, this is mean. And then he was like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. for like 10 years, I took that gnome everywhere. Yeah. And like H and I are super close, obviously. But every time I brought Steve along, that's what I called Steve and Stacy. They're my go-to names. When Steve came, anytime Steve came about, anyway, he got jealous one day. We took him to a festival called Rainbow Serpent, and I like drilled a little bit of a hole out of him and I put him on a stick. Anyway, I gave it to H and I was like, man, you look after him and do not do anything bad. Yeah. Because he's been having a go at him for 8 years. Anyway, I go to the bathroom and then his wife now comes up running over and she's like, clacker, something's happened to Steve. Anyway, Harrison had put the pole because he tried to jam into the ground, blew Steve's head out.
Oh no.
So anyway, Steve lasted for a couple more years after that. And then he eventually got burnt. So I was like, this is what I'm going to get tattooed on me. So Steve will forever be with me.
He's tattooed and he's, all over you as a logo, mate. I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, mate, from coming to site at Backman Builders and getting some awesome content for us, we, Luke and myself, and Luke can't be here today. We're just doing an impromptu one on site. But we were kind of like growing what we're doing with Build Insite, where, a lot more commitment, media, podcast, amping it up. And, we trialed some things, but ultimately we're just like, pretty much come to you and said, would you be keen to jump on board? I mean, mate, from our side of things, it's been awesome because we honestly just have a lot of fun anyway between the three of us. But I guess, mate, like without actually applying yourself to something, you can't truly have a crack if you've got the right people around you. And I know that's from like you coming on board and not necessarily a question. It shows if you're passionate about something and you surround yourself with people who are super passionate too, it becomes a dream. So, but what's been some of your highlights, mate, jumping in with the podcast stuff with us?
And the whole thing, like I think being a part of like what you guys are doing and like for me and what I wanted to achieve and, my cousins being builders and just kind of like being around the industry and wanting to see better things happen. And especially the guys that are doing like really cool shit. That's, so being around the conversations, going to SA, that was super fun. But it's a lot of the conversations and experiencing because I'm not only listening to the conversations when they're being recorded, but I get the opportunity to then re-listen to them when I edit the whole thing. So it's the conversations, it's the insights, it's the valuable things that like you hear, like guys reach out to you being like, oh yeah, I listened to the podcast. Oh, I listened to that. I really like that one. It's like, oh yeah, man, it changed my thought or values or whatever it may be. It's like, that's the cool thing. Like you're changing people's perspective on everything that you're, diving into. So, it's for me, it's just like really cool to be a part of that because it's like, you just want to, you want to partner and collaborate with guys that are, doing really amazing things and you guys are doing a really amazing thing. So it's hard to pinpoint one thing. Splitting cheese, I mean, is going to always be up there.
That's it. I think we're perfectionists. So until we split that G properly, like it can't stop. It's a little bit like we're doing here. Like we just want to, it's awesome. Like you've been a part of it when we get people come up and have a chat that they maybe hadn't thought about something on that level before, or they weren't sure how to tackle something. And for us, we're just keen on having those conversations. Like if our conversation today helps one person think about maybe branding themselves properly or getting in front of the camera, well, awesome. That's worth getting out there. But no, man, I'm super excited about stuff that we're working on, filming wise, photography, and then what we've got coming up 2026, man. It's going to be already a wild ride, mate. So we'll get you back on in a proper context when we've got the whole band together. But mate, what would you say to like someone out there that's contemplating like a space in the media, producing video, just having some fun with it? What would your go-to be?
Producing videos?
We're creating content, videography, photography.
Just like the answer is if you're starting off being a builder, it's like do what you're passionate about. Because the whole creative scene, it's like if you would have had to build stuff that you weren't passionate about, you'd lose interest. Whereas it's just kind of like if you really love filming cars, then, go and try it. Like for me, the first time, the first time I did a real estate videos was for a villa in Vietnam called Four Monkeys. And he came through the store and he was just renting one of our scooters, and I had getting chatting to him, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "Oh, I've got this villa." I was like, "Oh man, do you mind if I come and film it for you? I'll give you all the content. I just want to film it."
Mm.
In the end, he paid me $500,000, yeah, which is like $25. But man, I took that money home and I was like, holy shit, man, someone's going to pay me for this?
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
So stick to what you're passionate with and follow your heart. Don't give up on, business is like, you talk to anybody who's running a business, it sucks. It's hard. But at the same time, when it starts to work, when it starts to, opportunities arise, doors start to open, you kind of gap and gain kind of moments where, this time last year was wishing that he was you now, so, but just stay true to what it is that you want to do. And honestly, once you get into the lane, don't go and do the jobs that you don't like, because it diminishes your passion, it diminishes your creativity, and it just becomes a struggle.
Yeah.
So, just focus on what you're passionate about, stick to your guns, network like you've butts on fire, speak to everybody who you possibly can, and once the opportunities arise, like jump on it. Don't say no.
Yeah. I think you surround yourself with like-minded people, but it's not just being like-minded. Like if you're around passionate people who are, inspiring you, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
I'm consciously like just remove drainers from my life. I don't want, if there's negative people around me, you'll find you get negative. So I'm just like, see you later.
Yeah.
Be cutthroat with that. But yeah, it is a good one. Like, I mean, we're sitting in an amazing build. You're not going to replicate every build, but for us, like you just want to keep doing things that just keeps that fire burning. And I mean, we had a clients here last week and they brought some family in. I might have put this on the socials the other day actually, but our client's dad's 91. He's a retired architect, and he came through here and met some of the family before, but met the rest of them last week. And he commented to our client afterwards. He's like, it was so awesome to see after all his years, now retired in the industry, a builder with a big smile on his face, like so late in a really complex project. And he said, it's like, normally it's the other way around. Normally, people are like getting miserable and hating each other. But I'm big on, I feel like we've surrounded ourselves with good clients as well, vet them properly and figure out who's going to work. Don't be afraid to like walk away from something you think is going to be not a good time.
You'll remember the first time you say no to something, and it's super powerful.
Yeah.
Because before then you're thinking, how am I going to pay rent? How am I living, alongside, trying to make my dream, come true. But you have to, because, if I don't have a family, I'm single. All I've got is me, and I love working. I love my business. So I have the ability to put 24/7 into everything that I do, but I know other guys have families and X, Y, and Z. So it's even more important for you to like truly stay, true to your word and what you want, and don't say no, because the longer that you keep doing it, striving for it, like you said, get the right team around you, make sure you got your boy, your girls, whatever. And just never give up on the dream, because it's the stupidest thing is it's like the darkest before the dawn, all those things, but it's so true. It's like those opportunities, once you're about to give up and someone gives you a buzz, like I know when it's happened for me, and I was like, I cried because I was like, far out, man. Like all those things that you read in self-help books or, Gary V's or Alex Hormozi's, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of like it happens.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen without, you know, output. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can't just sit there. You got to
Yeah.
be consciously and
Like speak it into existence too. Like,
yeah,
you know,
like I learn
just-
everything. I was like,
Yeah.
I'd try and learn as much as like the build,
Mm.
you know, just so when we're talking or I'm with, you know, you don't want to hear and you're like, hey man, go film this. It's like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to build a house.
Yeah.
But not
Yeah.
actually physically. I'd be able to tell someone how to with all my content.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you just don't give up. I don't know, just don't give up. That's the
Yeah.
hardest.
I love that, man. We'll just, I reckon before we wrap up, what is like a real cool piece of equipment tech in like videography and photography space that's sort of there now that you're loving? It's always been like camera and drone, but we're seeing a lot of like 3D stuff and 360 photography and all that sort of stuff, man. Is there something there that you're looking to add to the toolkit besides all the podcast gear that you've got?
Yeah. Coolest piece of tech. Man, that's hard. Like all my shit's cool. I can't really put like a finger. I mean, I've always been a tech head. That's hard.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't, because there's, that's a hard one because there's
never
camera
ending.
gear, there's
Yeah, yeah.
lenses, there's computers,
Yeah.
there's podcast stuff,
Mm.
there's everything I got at the factory, you know,
Yeah.
software. I don't know. That's
And man, I was messaging the other day because I was just away with a mate who owns Drone Land. They're doing some really cool stuff with like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like topography stuff, like LiDAR technology, 3D scan, you know, and your head gets ticking. It's like, wow, you could like integrate it like this, and this, but yeah, need it's like bringing it all together.
I think like the stuff that's coming out in 3D mapping,
Mm.
I'd love to be able to do that. Like I think that would be such a cool piece of content to be able to add to the story. But it's just like, how much stuff do you learn?
Yeah, I
You
know.
know what I mean? Like this
There's
is,
only one of you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, yeah, anyway, that's tech's a hard one.
Nah, that's it, man. All right, let's have a rapid fire, a few questions at you, mate.
Hit me.
So you've done a bit of travel. What's your favorite country you've ever been to?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. What would you say would be the coolest type of building that you've been to and video photographed?
This one is 100% up there.
You're saying that because I'm in the room.
No. Well, no, because it's
No, it is cool.
for me. It's ones that I've been along for the journey.
Yeah.
You know, the end product is like nice and shiny, but
Yeah.
like for me, it's being able to see the complete process and everything, like under the floorboards, under the joy, under everything. You know what I mean? There was another one I did for K2 Homes out in Marinvina, and I started with the undergrounds and I went all the way to the finished product. Like that had just like stunning finishes. There's one that's out in Aberfeldy with Haven Constructions. This he calls a Pinnacle. That's going to be an absolute architectural wet dream. So there's a couple that I've been working on, but it's the ones that I've been working on from the very beginning.
All right, last one, mate. How many years until Build Insite's got its own TV show?
Years, man. Like probably next month we'll be getting called up.
No, we're just making that up now. No, mate. We love having you on board, mate, and I think we'll be definitely having Mick on with the full band again. But mate, it's always a pleasure. We have a lot of fun, and yeah, hopefully, if anyone's listening that's a bit scared to get on camera, I don't think anyone loves the sound of their own voice or likes to look at themselves. But yeah, just back yourself in and get out there, mate. So
Try it.
appreciate you sitting down with us, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Been
legend.
nice.
Say less.
Say less. That's good, man.
Awesome, bud.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram and Facebook. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
Well, that's a wrap for another week's episode of the Build Insite Podcast. Before we leave, just want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors for their ongoing support. Without their help, Build Insite wouldn't be what it is today.
let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.